5,000 CDs to a cancer charity in Pittsburgh that gives them to women undergoing chemotherapy, and they use it as they do their healing visualizations, because it helps them to get into theta so they can do the visualizations much easier. It also reduces pain. For many years, I went room to room in critical care units in hospitals with my harp, playing for people that were post-op and very stressed out and in a lot of pain. Hospitals are very, very stressful environments. And not only were the patients being relieved of pain, because I would just walk into the room, I'd start playing my harp, and most of the time people would just start crying. And they would just start relaxing. You'd watch on the meters, their respiration and heart rate would just go down all of a sudden. And then the doctors started following me around watching me because they were just amazed at what was happening. And then the staff started to relax too. Because, the staff at the hospital, they're totally freaked out too most of the time. It's a very high stress environment. So, and as it turns out, I guess in your community here, there's a scientist that does all the brainwave studies here. What's his name? Huh?
Fred Travis.
Fred, yes, Dr. Fred.
Aaron.
Yeah, I guess it's the guy who's on the website. You know, he's kind of a bald-headed guy. Fred, yeah. I guess he wants to meet me tomorrow, and he wants me to come in. And he wants to run some tests with me tomorrow. So it's cool. I got some science behind me. Yes.
Is there a particular CD that you send to me? Which one is it that you're sending to cancer patients?
I've sent several of them. They all seem to have the fact. I generally send the softer ones, not so much the upbeat rhythmic ones. Yeah.
Which ones are those?
It's Out of the Blue, Angel's Gift, Heart Magic, Heart and Soul. Those are the softer ones. Yeah, so it's a very powerful tool, and the Angels, you know, it's really not my music. It's really a kind of a co-creation, definitely a co-creation with the Angels. So, and actually today I'm just offering those CDs at $10 a piece, just discounting them. So, you know, to make sure everybody gets at least one, please get one to take home with you to use and to experience. So, yeah. So, just a couple more tips on the Angels. One way that's been very helpful for me to be able to see the Angels, and the Angels told me this, and it's really worked. You know what the holographic posters are? Where when you look at them, they just look like a bunch of squiggly lines. This is a relatively new phenomena that's come out by computer art. You look at them and they're just squiggly lines, but when you cross your eyes a little bit, they open up into a hologram. Have you seen these? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you experienced it yourself? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these are very powerful tools to work with, because when you actually use them, it actually makes connections in the neurocircuitry through the optic nerve. And adjust it so you can actually see into the quantum field. Yeah, so that's a very powerful tool for being able to see. Yes?
I think that you can actually, I mean, I can do this thing with my eyes where the whole, it becomes more multidimensional, just almost like crossing them a little bit yourself.
Yes, that's the way you do
don't
it.
even need the...
You don't, but they can be a wonderful tool, you know, to help you to gain that vision. So you can use that. And also, what I do a lot, when I was really seeing them a lot back in the early days, I don't quite see them like I did, because back early I was blown wide open, you know, and I was seeing them all the time, and it was great fun, but I just wanted to be with them all the time, and I wasn't very grounded. And so once I got my mission, I had to be more grounded, because I had to build structures in the third dimension with, you know, I had to build my own music company and my recording studio, and I had to, you know, do their work here because I was their earthly counterpart. I was the one with the physical body that had to set up the earth plane stuff. But it was very tempting to just be with them all the time, you know, and not engage the physical plane at all, and just kind of be a floaty, kind of airy-fairy wanderer with the Angels. But that wasn't what I was supposed to do. They were very clear, okay, you have to get focused now. And then, you know, it was very distracting when they were just popping in all the time. So I told them, you know, tone it down a little bit. So they've kind of respected my boundaries, although from time to time I do still see them. And there were times when I would start to see them the most was at nighttime. And I still love to do this. When I lay down at night in bed, and you're in a dark room, is just to look out into the black space of your room. And you look into the space in front of you with those same kind of cross-eyed vision that you look at the holographic posters. So as you're doing this, you just open your heart and you just call your angels to come and ask them to reveal to yourself, and just look out, and at first what you'll start to see is little trailers of light moving in front of you. How many people have seen these trailers of light moving? Yeah? Yeah, so you just start to see those, and just looking with that kind of cross-eyed, soft vision in front, you'll start to see more out of your peripheral vision, because that's how you first start seeing in the periphery. And then you'll start to see these trailers in front of you, and then if you keep developing it, you'll eventually start to see more distinct forms in front of you, and this is how I see them.
What about balls of light? I see golden balls of light all the
Yeah,
time.
that's probably them. I mean, they have radiant auras, and from a particular perspective of vision, they look like spherical, radiant spheres of light, orbs. Perhaps the orbs that people are capturing could be angels as well. Yeah, luminous angels or spirits on some level. Yeah? So, so those holographic posters are a very important tool, and then at nighttime, as you're laying in bed, just calling them from your heart, and then just looking out into space and seeing them, because they're like phosphorescent. They're luminous beings, and it's easier to see them at nighttime. Yes.
At the end of meditation, if you do that thing with your eyes, then those trailers will come easily, I think.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when you have to get up, and then your eyes, then they go away. So, everybody here could probably.
Yeah, and I think, how many people meditate in the domes here? Yeah, so I think the domes have probably got a lot of angels flying around in there too. So, what I suggest is when you're really in that heightened state, is just to look out into the space, into the dome, with that kind of soft vision, and see if you see anything moving through the space. And guarantee probably you'll catch a glimpse of them. But
Also, you may have heard about the homes here, this is the population.
yes,
They also bring in angels.
okay,
They
yeah, it's because
And
of
a lot of the children tell their parents about it. A lot of the children in this community see angels.
yes,
And so the little ones, I babysit a lot of the little ones. And they'll go in and they'll say, oh, look at all the blue angels are coming in here. They're the pink angels, they're the yellow angels. So
nice.
those homes are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kids see them all the time because they don't have the same filters in place.
Because they're not analyzing everything.
Yeah, they're not analyzing. They're just
They
in the
just take it as it
innocence,
is.
you know?
My grandchildren are
Right.
just reaching like this.
Get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, many children, it's very common with children to see them, and they also see the fairies and the devas as well. But, most of them have been, most of us were like that too when we were children, but our parents, they shut us down, because they thought they didn't want us doing that, right? So, Christ said, he said, if you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you have to become as little children. You have to be born again of the spirit of water, yeah, and return to innocence as like a little child. So the spirit of water is a very Aquarian, it's like an Aquarian age concept, but water is free-flowing, of course, so you have to learn how to go with the flow, yeah, with your energy, and allow your consciousness to be fluid, not rigid, and to return to the innocence of the child heart, of the heart within. That's why healing the inner child is so important to this process if you want to see angels. You have to get into your innocence, okay? It's a very important component. To access and heal the inner child is the wonder child is the one that doesn't know anything. It's like beginner's mind. Yeah, so that's when the majesty of God's creation will really be revealed to you, is when you can return to that place of innocence and a childlike nature.
I think that happened when I was daycaring. I had a lot of little children
And they're
around
great
me.
teachers in that way, aren't they?
And one I put on the swing, and I was worried about her. She was going to fall off. She wasn't quite 2 yet, but she was
Yes.
holding on pretty tight.
Yes.
And I kept thinking that I was worried about her falling off. And then next thing I know, there was these huge wings just batting me on each side of the shoulder, and the baby was on my chest.
Yeah,
But I didn't see the angel. I just felt
yeah.
the presence. My daughter must have seen it because she drew 3 angels with babies on their chest, and she was in 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
That was that.
What time is it now?
2:30.
2:30? Okay. So, yeah, you know, it's interesting, you know, to this whole return of innocence, because a lot of us think that we've got it all figured out, don't we? You know? I think it's very interesting when I meet people that feel that they've got the spiritual thing all figured out and they have a really good handle on reality. Yet when you realize that we're working with diminished perceptual capabilities. You know, our most neurologists will tell us, and scientists tell us, that we're only using about 5%. The most advanced humans are using about 5% capacity of their brains. Yeah? And the majority of the brain is dark matter, and it's lying dormant. And also, by studying genetics, we know that you know, geneticists have been able to identify about 25% or 30% of the DNA. And the rest of it, 70%, the majority of it, they call junk DNA. They don't know what it's for.
This is the good one.
And junk DNA is a disinformation campaign, actually. They want to think it, by saying junk DNA, they say there's no use for it. Like God gave us that DNA for absolutely no reason at all.
Mosquitoes.
And the same, yeah, it's the same with the dark matter of our brain. There's just no use for it, right? And also now the physicists are telling us that what we're actually perceiving in the physical world is only 10% of what's actually there, because most of it is in the invisible ultraviolet spectrum. And it's what they call dark matter. So we have dark matter within the physical universe, dark matter in the brain, and dormant DNA. So we're not seeing the whole picture. We don't have the hardware fully activated to be able to perceive the true nature of reality. And so when, you know, I always get a giggle when people think they've got it all figured out, you know, because from where we're trying to perceive the infinite from a very finite, limited perspective of things. Yes.
I think what's really cool is when, you know, when you play and when there's music and when we meditate and when we have these higher experiences, that the connection that's made on the higher universal level goes out and vibrates everywhere, and so that it continues to raise itself everywhere, even though we're at a localized point because of the connection. And it seems to me that that's really our job.
Absolutely.
Kind of.
Yeah, we're all like sending forth vibrations and radiations, sending forth into the collective. So I think as being conscious beings, we really have to become aware of the thought patterns that we're sending forth into the world. You know, even though we're awakened in many respects and very spiritual, a lot of us still have a shadow, you know, that is sending forth negativity into the world. It's just a human thing. And that's why doing the shadow work and bringing the shadow into the light of, into the awareness is very important to do. That's the shamanic side, is doing the shadow work. And it's unpleasant to some degree, but there's so much spiritual power in doing the shadow work that if you don't do the shadow work, then you're kind of unintegrated. There's a level of integration. You meet a lot of people in the New Age spiritual movement that are operating from about here up.
Yeah.
You know, and they're kind of airy-fairy, floaty, and they've always got a smile on their face, and they're always sweet. But they seem kind of phony on a certain level. And there's no energy from about here down. There's absolutely no energy in the lower chakras at all.
Bollywood.
Huh?
Yeah,
They did Bollywood.
you gotta dance, right?
Yeah, you've got to dance. So I think to fully get the chakras fully integrated, you know. And then also, let me show you, I got another picture here. Let me see if I can pull this out.
Yeah, like then you can feed them something.
Okay.
Might do something.
Let's see.